Today's lesson totally rocks. Stick around to talk about minerality and wine tasting. Welcome back to DiVino Wine School. I'm Annie Shapiro, certified sommelier. Today is day 14, and it is dedicated to minerality in wine tasting. Before we get started, just a reminder to subscribe and enroll. The links are down below so you can follow along with us in what we're drinking and tasting and talking about every week. Who's ready to start smelling rocks in their wine? Let's go. If you've been following along with us, you might have brought a Riesling from the Mosel region of Germany. These Rieslings have a very distinctive mineral note. Minerals are harder to identify in wine tasting because we aren't used to smelling them. That's why I brought some gravel today to get you in the mood for minerality in your wine. In a wine tasting, you pick up minerality on the nose and on the palate, especially on the finish. Minerals come across as flavors as well as sensations. The origin of mineral notes in wine is not 100% clear. Some of them develop during the winemaking process, and others seem to be directly related to the soil and the climate where the grapes were grown. That is a very romantic concept called terroir, and we will have a whole episode on that coming up, so definitely stay tuned. So what does minerality smell and taste like? Close your eyes for a second. Try to imagine a sea breeze rustling the leaves of the grapevine. Imagine that sea salty air collecting on the leaves and the base of the plant and in the soil. The wine in your glass is reminiscent of the seaside, and this leaves a salty mineral finish. Okay, open your eyes, smell and taste your wine if you have it. This seems very romantic, but it happens in wine, especially white wine, all the time. If you have some sea salt at home, grab that, mix it up in some water, or even try eating an oyster. Try to imagine the sidewalk after a summer rainstorm. It's okay if you can't. That's why I brought these rocks to help train your nose. This smell of wet cement or wet limestone is what we call a Stoney minerality. In addition to salt and wet stones, other mineral notes include slate and flint and gunpowder and even metal. The good news is you probably do know what these things smell like. You just need a reminder. Sulfur and limestone are at the heart of a lot of these. Sulfuric is obviously not a very pleasant way to describe wine, but just keep that idea in the back of your head. If you've got a piece of chalk, break that in half. That's a mineral note. Do you have one of those pumice stones in the shower? Press pause, go get it. When you get back, scrape the edge, get it wet, and smell it. That's a volcanic mineral note. Many wines grow on the slopes of active or inactive volcanoes or on soils where volcanoes used to be active thousands of years ago. Think of what you smell after fireworks go off. That's flint. Lighting a match is similar. Graphite is the smell of freshly sharpened No. 2 pencils. Back to school scent memory, anyone? Bordeaux wines, red and white, are famous for having graphite notes. Have you ever smelled your hands after lifting weights at the gym? And I don't mean those cute, colorful ones. I mean the ones with the steel bar in the middle. Or smelled your hands after working on your bike? That kind of rusty smell is a metallic mineral note. You can also describe dry white wines as being steely when they feel very firm and sleek on your palate. You might also smell or taste a metallic sensation. This steely note comes with a lot of practice, but think of a Riesling like this one, or a Gruner Veltliner, or other very, very bright acidic wines, like a very young unoaked Chardonnay. When you aren't sure exactly what you smell, but you definitely notice something in this category, you can say the wine has mineral notes, a mineral finish, or intense minerality. When minerality shows up on the finish, it has a mouth-watering sensation. This makes you want to have another sip, but it also plays into food and wine pairing. If your wine leaves you with a mouthful of minerals, stay away from salty or bitter foods that might clash. Instead, try something like a mild white fish that will burst with flavor. Think of it as salting your food with your wine. A wine with great minerality can bring out the best in a relatively simple food. A great example of this is the caprese salad in the Amalfi Coast of Italy. This is a simple plate made of mozzarella cheese and tomatoes and a little bit of basil. It is almost always served with one of the local white wines, which actually grow on the slopes of live volcanoes. Those wines are rich with mineral notes and leave a mouthwatering finish, but also bring out the nutty floral qualities of that bufala mozzarella. Let me know in the comments what you drank today, and if you have a better understanding of minerality or any questions, I'm happy to answer them. And as always, I encourage you to subscribe and enroll to stay updated with us and what we're drinking, what we're smelling, tasting, and talking about. Cheers!